The man suddenly kissed the woman in front of him, but in the next second he pushed her off the cliff. Immediately after, he jumped down himself. They both fell heavily into the water. Before long, they appeared on the beach again. At this point, they were exhausted, yet they dared not stop moving. It seemed as if something terrifying was chasing them. It turned out they had been stranded on the island for 8 days due to the plane crash. They had found no way to escape, and they had attracted the attention of a group of ruthless pirates. Just as they were on the verge of despair, John suddenly noticed a dilapidated plane and a tree ahead.
This is not a good island for airplanes.
It's Japanese World War II float plane. It's been up there for 50 years.
As night began to fall, they decided to spend the night nearby. Since their hunting tools were left on the beach, they had to make do with some wild fruits for food. Looking at the battered plane, John suddenly came up with a plan to escape. Early the next morning, Nina was awakened by a loud noise. She saw John directly taking apart the plane's floats.
What are you doing?
Got a plan.
Soon they dragged the floats back to the beach. Worried that the pirates might chase them again, they dared not waste a moment. They immediately set to work. They began collecting thick tree trunks and bound them together into a makeshift frame. Nina tied one end of a rope to the plane's wing and the other end to a tree. John used a lever to slowly lift the wing, preparing for the next steps. Then they moved into the bamboo grove and began cutting bamboo frantically. Nina gradually understood her husband's plan. At the thought of finally leaving the island, a smile involuntarily appeared on her face. Her hands moved faster as well. Soon they had collected enough bamboo. Nina was responsible for transporting the bamboo to the beach, while John dug a hole by the side of the plane, preparing to secure the floats. Once everything was ready, they placed the floats under the plane and secured them with ropes and bamboo to ensure the wings would not break during flight. Finally, Nina pulled the rope suspending the plane, letting the plane's wheels settle securely into the float slots. John used an axe to cut several holes on both sides of the cabin, threaded bamboo across the cabin and tied it to the floats, reinforcing the connection between the floats and the plane. Just as they were about to finish, a cannonball came flying from afar. The pirate ship was rapidly approaching them. Its speed left them no time to think. They immediately dismantled the plane's frame, preparing to escape. Unexpectedly, John was hit by the cannonball, falling to the ground and writhing in pain. Nina bent over anxiously to check on John, seeing that his left hand was severely injured. The pirates were closing in quickly. A surge of urgent danger rose in her chest. She couldn't hesitate any longer. Clenching her teeth, Nina summoned all her strength and barely managed to drag her husband onto the plane. John endured the agonizing pain from his wound, his fingers trembling yet still gripping the control stick tightly. Cannonballs whizzed past them, and each second felt like torture on a knife's edge. To make matters worse, the weight of the floats prevented the plane from taking off immediately, so it had to skim along the surface of the water. As the plane neared the pirate ship, John couldn't pull down the control stick with one hand and had to guide Nina through the maneuvers. Just as the plane was about to collide with a deep rumble, it finally lifted off the water and shot straight into the sky. John fainted from blood loss. Nina also sustained minor injuries upon landing. In the end, they both returned to land safely. True strength doesn't lie in conquering danger, but in choosing to persevere and trust, even in the face of despair. In the midst of life and death, the brilliance of human nature shines most brightly.